So I recall only recently, I think the vice president having a meeting with CSOs, and he was saying that they haven't heard enough outrage on the part of Nigerians for some of the crimes and, well, some of the allegations that they have been able to discover, especially with the kinds of monies they discover get missing or got missing in the last administration. And he says that the kind of outrage which they ought to see, they don't seem to be seeing on the part of Nigeria.
Perhaps there's no outrage because we don't trust the system anymore. I mean, what will the outrage do? I mean, you can be out there shouting yourself hoarse, and nothing's going to happen. And that is, there's a malaise. People are just kind of like withdraw, like this is it. I mean, nothing's happening. What outrage? I mean, have we not been outrageous enough? I mean, part of the outrage was what brought the president into power, because people were tired of corruption.
So why should we give up?
Well, I'm not saying we should give up.
If the outrage got results.
But I'm not saying we should give up. I'm just saying right now, the war on corruption seems to be zero, because corruption itself is happening within those who actually claim to be fighting corruption.
But we're warned of this. We're warned of this, that corruption will fight back. So it shouldn't be a surprise to you, I mean, to see that corruption is actually fighting back from all sides. But what the concern is now is that how do we tackle this? Starting with the SGF and the NIA. The report is not out. Nobody knows about what happened. Or is the SGF and the NIA just being victims of circumstance?
No, I don't think they're victims of circumstance. But let me put it this way. If the president or the authorities done what they're supposed to do in the first place, you report a crime. Now, if you got stopped by the police on the street for violating the traffic law, nobody is picking up the phone and calling the president and saying, oh, should we prosecute this man? A crime is crime. If you are suspected of a crime, let the EFCC, let the authorities do what it's supposed to do, what they are supposed to do. It's not. I don't like the idea of the EFCC waiting for the president to say prosecute or investigate. That is not fighting corruption. We call them, what is it called? Independent, whatever, they have independent power. They're the law enforcers, okay? And it doesn't matter who it is, who is suspected of corruption, whether it's the SGF, the NIA, it doesn't matter. Let the authorities step in and investigate. On this presidential panel, look at it this way. We set up the panel since April. The report came out. What do you think will happen to evidence within those times?
No, but that's not a prosecuting panel.
It's not a prosecuting panel. But if you are now to prosecute now, okay? If you have, and people complain about the judiciary, and if you have to prosecute now, you have to preserve evidence. You have to preserve witnesses. It's a waste of time. What will the panel do?
That's assuming the anti-corruption agency did nothing all the while.
They did nothing all the while. What will the panel do except to, at the end of the day, recommend prosecution?
Yeah, but Mr. Shobo, I wonder if you're being fair. I mean, because first and foremost, there's a number of individuals. You can count them on one hand. The cases you're talking about, you can count them on one hand. Would you say that it would then rubbish? I mean, the EFCC is an institution. It's working on a daily basis. They have cases that they're working on. And we must also remember that it was the EFCC's investigation that led us to this NIA issue in the very first instance. Nobody knew that there was dollars in that apartment. Yeah,
but why did they stop? Why did they stop at that? Why did they stop at just discovering the money?
How do we know that they've stopped?
Well, they themselves said it. That it was reported. I said, well, stop. We're going to set up a panel to look into this.
My point is, I mean, we do know that the president set up a presidential panel headed by the vice president.
My question is, why a presidential panel? A crime has been, somebody suspects a crime being committed. Prosecute, investigate. You don't need a presidential panel to look at the end of the day, it's a waste of time, because at the end of the day, what would the presidential panel do?
When you have
will the presidential panel say, don't prosecute?
No, but when you have two major agencies of government fighting in public, isn't there some conflict? I mean, isn't that embarrassing? When you hear the EFCC say, well, we're prosecuting or we're investigating, and our investigation has led us to this, and you hear the NIA saying, well, these people were just being stubborn. We said this is our money. Isn't that something that a higher panel should be able to investigate and see what is going on there?
What I'm saying is, don't let us go beyond what is ordinary when it comes to prosecution of crime. ordinarily, when somebody is suspected.
Wasn't that the big crime
for them to be prosecution? Let the EFCC continue its investigation. I mean, at the end of the day, the EFCC will conclude whether what it found during its investigation is worthy of prosecution or not. And that is, we haven't even gotten there yet. And it's April, and somebody found so much money there. And what I'm saying is that actually diminishes the public's confidence in fighting corruption. Perception is very important. If you don't maintain that perception, then you might be wasting time, because people are saying, okay, look, what happened to this money? Why all this panel here and there, the reports and so on and so forth?
Mr. Shubo, you say that confidence is at stake here, but what can be done to remedy,
what can be done
or to build back that confidence, if indeed it has been lost?
Great question. What can be done is, when crime is suspected, let the authority or the authorities who are in charge of investigating, let them go ahead and do what they have to do. All these things from the president or those panels, let just if the EFCC is the authority to investigate, let it carry on. It will instill confidence in the public that we are actually doing this. Now, if at the end of the day, these two people were not convicted because we have lost evidence, we have lost time between the commission of the crime and the time we brought them to the courts, what do you think the public will feel?
But with the steps being taken, we may now, you say it's too late.
I didn't hear that.
With the steps being taken to remedy what has happened in the
I'm not saying it's too late,
case, you say it's
but
too
we
late.
may find out later that it is too late, because when you are prosecuting crime, there's so many steps that you have to go. Investigation, gathering of evidence, preservation of evidence. I mean, you cannot prove a case in court without those. And if you don't have those, then we're going to start blaming you. Oh, well, we're not sending people to jail. And I've said it before, what will bring the confidence back is when you see people actually going to jail for what they've done. They go to prison.
But it takes a while for that.
Well, it may take a while. You know, the will of justice, like I said, turns, but if it turns slowly, but if it's turning, the confidence, to restore the public confidence in the war against corruption, people must see folks going to jail or being prosecuted, going to prison and serving long prison terms. No matter who they are, whether it's the SGF, the NIA person, nobody's above the law.
Do you think we need international cooperation to fight corruption?
Of course, we always need international cooperation. Look at Minor. Who knows where he is? Words have it that he was hiding in Dubai or something like that before. I mean, we need international, of course. But we have to get the international community with us. But the international community will not support us if they don't see us making the effort. Like we're saying.
All right, then that's where we need to anchor. Mr. Muyiwa Shubo, a legal practitioner. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts this morning.